want to talk about the sorry state of Australian universities, including the country's top university backing a lecturer who tells students there may be benefits to female genital mutilation. One would have to look long and hard to find institutions as captured by the toxic doctrine of identity politics as universities. Institutions that once celebrated achievement, critical thinking and diversity of views are mired in groupthink and the promotion of far-left ideologies, particularly in the arts, humanities and social sciences. But sadly, these views are gaining a foothold in the more worthy departments as well. If you have a child who is contemplating higher education, then you should be aware of what is happening at Australian universities. The growth of junk degrees and the devaluation of university education has coincided with the rise of cultural Marxism. Of course, the indoctrination starts much earlier at primary and secondary school, where under the guise of inclusion and diversity, a left-wing narrative that is neither inclusive nor diverse is relentlessly pushed. When parents see these weasel words, they should examine closely what is being promoted. By the time students enter university, they have been well conditioned to swallow increasingly radical notions, like the doctrine that Western civilization, the greatest global force for equality, freedom, enlightenment and opportunity, is hopelessly mired in racism, sexism and bigotry. Emotions are allowed to trump facts. History is redefined and students are encouraged to see the world through a simplistic prism of the oppressor and the oppressed. It's a phenomenon that has created a hostile, genuinely intolerant environment at universities where robust debate and pursuit of truth can be tantamount to hate speech. When mainstream conservatives are routinely attacked, silenced or completely deplatformed, then you know something has gone terribly wrong in our learning institutions. And I'll be talking shortly to a woman who experienced that hostility and intimidation firsthand. But it must be noted, this isn't a uniquely Australian problem. The radical left's march through the institutions is evident in the US, Britain and much of the West. And if you think the best universities are immune from this toxic idiocy, then you haven't been paying attention. Melbourne University has long been considered the country's best and ranks significantly higher than its competitors in the latest Times Higher Education World and University rankings. And yet, today, it defended a lecturer who tells students there may be benefits to female genital mutilation. A lecturer who compares the barbaric practice of FGM to Western women getting their ears pierced. Dr. Juliet Rogers, a senior lecturer at Melbourne Uni, expands on this monumentally moronic theme in a paper published in 2016 where she writes, and I quote, "For each claim that a woman's sexual health is impacted, there is a study which suggests it is not, and others which suggest it is enhanced. For each claim of trauma, there is another which claims empowerment." Can you believe that? Empowerment through mutilation? It sounds like a dark comedy skit, but it's an example of modern academia in all its glory. I've read the paper in full, and believe me, there's plenty more there that would have you shaking your head. Naturally, Dr. Rogers' brand of moral relativism is not shared by medical professionals who've seen girls and women who've undergone this brutal practice. Professor Elizabeth Elliott, who conducted a study into Australian girls as young as 5 months old who suffered FGM, she is unequivocal in describing the harm it causes. She said, "FGM is a form of gender-based violence. It's an abuse of human rights and is associated with significant and often lifelong health and psychological consequences. All types of FGM are traumatic for young girls and potentially harmful, including the more minor procedures such as pricking or nicking, and regardless of who performs the procedure and where." Yep, she nailed it. All FGM, whether it's a little nick or the most severe form of mutilation, is harmful and illegal. Laws to combat this evil, misogynistic practice aren't a form of Islamophobia. They're created to protect some of the most disempowered girls and women in our society. It's It's been interesting to see Melbourne University's response today. Suddenly, the university cares about academic freedom and diversity of views. A university representative told the Herald Sun's Ashley Argoon, "The university supports the right of all scholars at the university to hold and express diverse opinions. It also expects that debate on these ideas should be robust and uninhibited." We'll hold you to that.